Hello, hello, hello. Pile number one. Welcome to Hollywood Oracle. I'm Antonio, your reader, and let's get into this. So, pile number one. What do people want to ask you? And I feel like this is only natural, right? If you chose pile number one here, we have the uncomfortable card. Oh, let me turn my light on here. Oh. Don't mind. Don't mind. We have the uncomfortable card here. So, stand up. What people want to ask you, right? The questions people want to ask you is that they want to ask you like things they feel like would make you uncomfortable, right? Or at least they feel uncomfortable asking these questions. And I mean, like that's only normal, especially when you believe in like reading cards in the first place. Like some people look at it as a like demon exercise, right? Like we're calling upon like these evil spirits, and you shouldn't do it, right? And then there's other people who are curious, but they just don't want to ask. Okay, and I know what that feels like because it people at work, like who are into this stuff, have no problem asking me about it. Like they'll be like, oh, I hear you run a channel, and so we have that conversation. But then I'm like, well, who told you? Like, how did you find out? Because I don't speak about it. Anyways, so I feel like yes, people want to ask you questions that they feel either uncomfortable themselves or they feel like would make you feel uncomfortable. Okay, with the faith card, that's in the reverse. Okay, so yes, this is I mean right away, right? It goes without saying, we were just kind of just speaking about it, and I feel like maybe that's why I was just like ranting on. But yes, people want to ask you about your faith, right? Like they don't believe in what you believe in, and they don't necessarily understand it. So this is why they want to ask, right? Like what's involved with it? Like, is it demon possessed? Like, what are you exactly doing? Are you slitting goats' necks? You breaking chickens' necks? Are you drinking the blood of whatever? It's, trust me, people's minds run very far. But yes, people want to know, like, what is your faith like? And especially with it being in the reverse, just lets you know, like, they don't understand. Okay. Like they're like, what is your faith? Like, what is it? Spirit, God, universe, whatever it is you believe in. And I'm not even saying like if you're here, just reading cards, because some people, also watch these things and believe in like the Bible and so on and so forth. So yeah, people just have this weird idea, right? Like, especially when you are religious and you still watch cards, drives people like, isn't that against the blah, blah, blah? It is what it is. We have the challenges card here in the reverse. Okay, so what people want to ask you is like, why does it always feel like you don't? I feel like people have this this idea that like you never go through challenges, right? Like you never have to go through anything hard or difficult. Like life is almost pretty much on easy mode for you. So it could be because the card right under challenges is alignment, right? So it could be like you practice manifestation, okay? Or maybe you're just a very hard worker. You understand that not only do you have to ask for these things, but you also have to put work in, right? Because, Spirit, God, universe can only handle things in the, the spiritual realm. We have to handle things here in the physical realm. So people want to ask you is like, how come like it never seems like you have to try hard to achieve what it is that you achieve, right? Like how come everything comes easily to you? At least this is what they feel like, okay? This is what they see. And with the alignment, yeah, it's almost like people understand that, look, confirmation, I don't know if you heard the horn, right? People understand that like there's something you're doing, right? Because it almost feels like you're in this alignment of like, and it's really what it is it's the vibration you're vibrating at, right? It's like how high is your vibration that like things are just coming to you naturally, where it's like you don't even have to do anything. Like you just win things. People just accept you. People just give you things, right? Simply because you're at this level of vibration, right? That you're at this certain type of frequency. You're aligned with the certain type of frequency that brings things into your life. And people are seeing this and they're like, how? Like, teach me, oh, Y is one. Excuse me. Anyways, oh, sorry, I snorted a little there. That was a good one for me. Cleanse here. Excuse me. We have the cleanse card here, and that's in the upright. So with the cleanse card, what I'm seeing is what people want to ask you is like, yeah, I mean, it's literally right under that alignment card we were talking about, right? So people want to figure out how to clean up their mess, right? They want to figure out how to clean up their life. They want to figure out, I see what you're doing, right? Or at least the way, like the trajectory of your life, okay? And maybe you're very far from where you used to be. Maybe you didn't believe in like tarot card readings, oracle readings, whatever the case is, a few months ago, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever the case is. But now they see like with your newfound faith or whatever the case is, right? And this is spirit, God, universe, whatever it is you believe in, that like things are working out for you. So now they want to ask you, okay, how can I do that? With the cleanse card in the upright, right? Like, how can I clean my, shit up, right? Teach me again, like I was saying. Then we have the relentless card, okay? And with the relentless card in the upright, yeah, again, it's also right next to that faith card that we were discussing, right? So it's like people are seeing you win. People are seeing you like, even when people feel like you're going to lose, you pull through with that W, okay? That win, right? They're like, oh, I feel like there's a lot of people who've seen you in positions where it's like, oh, that ain't gonna work out too well for pile number one, And then it's like you come back, and not only do you come back strong, but like you come back from things that like are unexplainable. They're like, how did how did that happen? For instance, like when I had a truck, right? I had a Chevy Silverado, 2008 model. Love that truck. And I had it for over a decade. Finally broke down on me, right? And I didn't have a car for about 3, maybe 4 days. And I know people, it's almost like I could feel the energy, right? Like people were like, oh, what is Powell? Well, Powell. I'm not a Powell, but what is Antonio going to do, right? And then not only did I buy a car, but I bought a car that was way better than what they expected that I was going to buy, right? So it's like, they're like, damn, like, he don't lose, right? Like, but that mean with like Snoop Dogg, right? The motherfucker don't lose, like, he don't miss, Anyways, excuse my language. Yeah, people are just seeing this, where it's like, they're like, nothing can keep pile number one down, right? Like, how do they do that? We have the romance card here in the reverse, okay? So what people want to ask you is, if you're single, right, and you've been single for a while, they want to ask you, how come you're not interested in romance currently, right? Like, how come you're not dating people, dating around, interested in that lifestyle, right, of having a significant other? If it's not that, what I'm also seeing with this romance card is, I feel like people want to ask you, how come you aren't open to everyone, is kind of what I'm getting, right? In the sense of like, you don't play well with others, if that makes sense, right? It's just, and it's not like you don't play well with others. It's not saying that like you can't get along with other people. It's just like you kind of keep your energy to yourself, okay? Like you're not out here like, I love everybody, and again, like they feel uncomfortable asking you these questions, right? Because you have this energy of like, yeah, I keep to myself. Not a lot of people know things about me. Like it's this romance speaks not only what's the word? Not only romantically, but platonically as well, right? Like you're just kind of like to yourself type of energy, okay? And then we have the creative card in the reverse. Yeah, so what people want to ask you is like, I feel like it's with the creative card in the reverse, it's not that you're not creative. They just want to know like how is it that you're able to come up with ideas, almost like MacGyver, right? Like almost like, you know, I forget the Renaissance person, but you get the idea. Like you come up with these ideas that are kind of out of the box, right? You come up with these ideas where it's like, where'd you even pull that from? You know, because here he is, right? And if we turn this upside down, this is how he makes Pegasus, right? Out of a cloud. Okay, he's just like, oh, you know, we'll do a little this and do a little that, and you know, and here's Pegasus. And with it being in the reverse, I feel like people don't quite understand your creative style. They don't understand your creative like muse, or like where the ideas come from. They just don't understand, right? And they don't get why they can't think of things like that as well. And if you want to even look at it further, this creative card is in the reverse right next to the alignment card that's in the upright, right? So it's like you are aligned again to a certain type of frequency. That's where your ideas come from. That's where your thoughts come from, right? That's where, you know, that's why things work out for you. So they don't understand. It's hard for them to even process how you even like this setup here. Just for example, you know, I showed people that some family members, some friends, and they're like, how does your brain work like this? you know, like, how do you come up with these ideas, right? It just comes to me, okay? We have the shocked card here in the reverse. So yeah, people want to ask you like, how come you don't seem shocked, right? You could have grown up with a lot of, and I hate to say it, and I'm sorry if it has happened to you, but you could have grown up with a lot of trauma, okay? That, or just like maybe you read a lot of things, you find a lot of dark corners, right? And it's almost like people want to ask you like, how come it feels like it's very hard to impress you? Okay, like it's very hard to surprise you. When this card actually first came out, I got the theme song to the insurance company of the farmer song, where it's like bum 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 farmers, like we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, right? So it's like you've been around, okay? And even if you haven't been around, I feel like intuitively, right? Like you're so much in like your frequency that it's like not a lot phases you. And this is what people want to ask you, like, why is that? How is that? Okay. With the Soul Tribe card, we have her. That's in the upright. So what people want to ask you is like, and when this card came out, I had a funny thing where I was like, the Soul Tribe came out, immediately what came into my head is like, there's more of you, right? Like there, like not only is there you, but there's more people like you out there, right? Like this is a question. It's almost like they want to ask you like, do you have your own little circle? Do you have your own little group? Is there like little meetings where you're getting together wearing black robes and lighting shit on fire, right? You know? maybe not that last part. That was just me. But you know, they want to ask those questions. You know, like, is there people that, you know, you're in touch with that do the same thing, right? That practice the same religion, spirit, God, universe, believe in the same things, whatever it is you believe in, right? They want to ask you, is there some type of community or group, you know, and maybe they're interested in going, maybe they're interested in checking it out, right? Go ahead and share this video with them, recommend it, or a video with them that you feel would help. We have the children card here in the upright, okay? So with the children card here in the upright, I feel like what they want to ask you is like, they want to either ask about your children, or they want to ask you, are you interested in children, like having children, or more children for that matter. With the children card, I feel like they also want to ask you, like, is this something that you're teaching your children, right? Like, how much do your children know about this? You know, how much do they do they practice this type of spirit, you know, or religion or culture or whatever the case is, right? Like, is this something that they're involved in as well? Are they interested? Then we have the cold card, okay? The cold card is right next to the creative card in the reverse, okay? I feel like with this cold card, it's people want to ask you, like, again, I feel like it's kind of linked to this romance card. It's like, how are you so detached, right? Because this cold card is still in this row with alignment here, okay? And they want to ask, like, how are you so, like, in tune with things, but also detached from this world, if that makes sense, right? Like, how is it that, like, I feel like you can cut people off, you know? Or, like, how to explain this? Yeah, like, you can cut people off, or you can just draw back your energy, and you can and it can feel, like, extremely cold. And you can see how she's turned around in this card, right? Where she's just like, nah, you know, like, not even giving people the time of day or energy. And you see, like, she doesn't even want to turn around. There is no question of even turning around, right? So it's like people want to ask you, like, how is it that you can be so in alignment with your beliefs and your faith and whatever the case is, but you can also be so cold and standoffish towards people, right? And I also feel like some of this cold and standoffish could come from the fact of, like, people with the creative card in the reverse, like, it's because you've had a lot of your ideas stolen, right? And this is why you can be so cold and standoffish. It's because you don't want to share, you know, your creative ideas, because people tend to take those and run with them, right? Or they'll take them and not give you the credit for it, whatever the case is. Then we have loyal, okay? The loyal card in the reverse. I feel like what people want to ask you with this loyal card in the reverse is, like, I feel like this pertains to, like, your loyalty. Like, how to explain this? It's almost like people want to ask you, like, how come your loyalty can't be either bought, or your loyalty doesn't, like, I want to say, like, transfer over. It's kind of what I'm getting, but I know that's not really a good description. It's more or less like, how come your energy, best way to explain it, it's almost like grandfathered in, right? If, for those of you who don't understand that phrase, grandfathered in means, like, let's say you buy a cell phone plan, right? And, like, you have unlimited minutes and unlimited texting and unlimited data, right? And then the company wants to go in a new direction where they no longer offer that plan. But because you bought it when they did offer that plan, it's called grandfather, right? They'll grandfather you in to their next stage of the company, but allow you to keep the plan as long as you stay with them, right? So it's like, you can keep this plan, but anybody joining new can no longer get unlimited messages, unlimited data, okay? And unlimited text, right? Or whatever, phone calls. So grandfathered in. I feel like this is what they want to ask you about your loyalty, right? Like, how is it that you can be friends with someone and loyal to them for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, but then in the next breath, flip your loyalty, right? I feel like this is why it's right underneath that cold card too, as well, is because, like, your loyalty is not based on years or time spent together. Your loyalty is based on how one treats you and how one continues to treat you. And if they switch up, then you switch up, right? It's not like, hey, you do me wrong, and because we've known each other for 10 years, I'll forgive you. It's no, you do me right and you continue treating me right, and my loyalty will be yours, okay? And vice versa. We have the bottom of the deck card is playful. Okay. With the playful card in the reverse, people want to ask you, it's like, yeah, I mean, this playful card is in that same row, right? It's the remote romance card in the reverse, the children card in the upright, and the challenges card in the reverse, right? So it's again, people want to ask, they want to ask you, how come you're not easily approachable? Is kind of what I'm getting. Like, again, you don't play well with others, okay? Not everybody. How to explain this? What they don't understand is that you don't have to give your energy to everyone, right? What they don't understand is like, how come not everyone can just walk up and approach you? How come you limit the access to yourself, to your energy, right? How come? And I feel like this also kind of goes to that loyalty and coldness, right? Where it's like you have your people that like you talk to, you joke with, but then you also have your group of people that you just don't, right? There is no question about it. You don't, this person I don't mess with, right? Their frequency doesn't align with yours, and you get it and you understand it, and you understand possibly when I'm also kind of getting like people want to ask you like, how do you know not to mess with a certain someone, right? Like how I feel like you are very well attuned to your own frequency, and you can understand immediately when you meet someone whether or not you're going to get along with them, or whether or not you two are going to have issues. Okay, because you can feel their energy and it's not matching with yours, right? And I feel like this is what people want to ask you. It's like, how do you know when to trust someone and not to trust someone? How do you know that before even meeting them? How do you know that before even getting to know them, right? Then some words of advice here from Spirit Guide Universe, whatever it is you believe in. We just call it Major Pay. Major Pay. Only one way forward, and that's in the upright. So only one way forward here in the same row as faith in the reverse, relentless in the upright, and soul tribe. Spirit Guide Universe is just saying, keep doing what you're doing, okay? Everything will work out for you because there's only one way forward, right? Believing in your faith, right? Not straying from it, never giving up, right? With that relentless card, never giving up, and relying on your community, your soul tribe, the ones that you can trust, the ones that do align with your frequency, right? Call on them when you need to. We also the next card is play no games, and that's in the reverse. Okay. I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is telling you with this play no games in the reverse is just saying like it's okay to open up to people, right? It's okay because I mean, how else do you make new friends? How else do you make new connections or networks or, whatever the case is? Even if you don't like someone, they can always be used as a network or a connecting or a joining person. They might know someone that can really help you out in a situation or a business, right? So Spirit Guide Universe is saying like, even if you don't like someone, talk to them. Get to know them. I'm not saying you got to be best friends, buddy with them, but they could prove to be valuable in a certain way, right? Spirit Guide Universe could be bringing this person into your life to help you move towards your next step, right? So it's like this person has knowledge or they have connections that will help you move forward in your next step. But it doesn't mean that person necessarily is supposed to be in your life. They're just a connecting or a joining person for you to proceed to that next level. Okay? But if you like close everyone out immediately when their energy or frequency doesn't vibe with you, right? Then you'll never know. You'll never ask the question of or tell the person maybe a certain thing about yourself that they're like, hey, I know another person who does that, right? We have know thy enemy. That's in the reverse as well. I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is saying like there's secret enemies around you, okay? this is why it's also uncomfortable, because I feel like there's people who are enemies, and this is why they worry, like they have these certain type of questions, right? Because they're looking for some type of ammo or something against you, right? They're looking for some type of way to talk about you or gossip about you, but they come off as like a frenemy, right? Like someone who says hi to you every morning, talks to you, asks you what you did, or this weekend, and XYZ. Okay. So just keep a lookout who's in your circle, even if it's like people who, I'm getting more so, it's like people who like but you aren't very close with. Okay, you might have some enemies in your circle around you. They ain't in the castle, but they around the walls. Be about your right, and that's in the upright. So Spirit Guide Universe is saying, and this is in the same row as cleanse, shocked in the reverse, and loyal in the reverse. Spirit Guide Universe, I just feel like it's saying, like, if you're going to commit to something, then be about it, right? Don't talk about something and do the complete opposite, right? Like if somebody does you wrong and you have made this boundary with yourself where you're like, yeah, if a person ever does this to me, we can no longer be friends, and then you turn around and forgive a person for doing that to them. And a lot of times when something like that happens, it's usually family, right? And I'm not saying that you can't forgive family, but sometimes, how to put this, not everybody has the same heart as you, pal number one, right? So even when you give people or family the benefit of the doubt simply because they're family, doesn't mean that their loyalty lies with you. Doesn't mean that they won't do it again. Okay? Sorry, that got kind of deep. But we also have, be about your shit, right? So if nothing shocks you, nothing surprises you, then do that, right? Don't I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is saying, like, don't act fake surprised. If you're not surprised or impressed, don't lead anybody to believe that. And then like the cleanse card here, I feel like this is really calling people out, where it's like, how to explain this? If you act with a certain type of ego or bouginess, right, because you are on top of your things, then you have to own that, right? Like you can't be like, oh yeah, I have everything in order, I have, my life, blah, 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 going for me, and then in the same breath, turn around and have some type of addiction or whatever the case is, okay? But then still value yourself higher than other people. I feel like this is what Spirit Guide Universe is calling out, right? Like you can't place yourself above someone when you still have, I feel like it's almost like just saying like everybody sins, right? So even if you do have some type of sinful nature or addiction or whatever the case is, I feel like this is just Spirit Guide Universe saying, just be honest about it, right? Because then no one can use it against you, right? No one can take that from you either, okay? Or hold that over your head, almost like blackmail, like, oh yeah, I know you did such and such, right? Extra card that fell out here was boundaries in the reverse. I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is just saying, I feel like you might have your walls down when it comes to certain people that you shouldn't. Okay. Bottom of the deck energy, we have clean this shit up, and it's in the reverse. And look at that. We end on clean this shit up, and the cleanse card is kind of like in that same row of what we were just discussing, right? And the clean this shit up is in the reverse. So there might be some things about your life where that you're still kind of addicted to or doing that you kind of need to look at in a closer light, right? They could be stopping you from that next level that you're trying to reach, okay? This has been your reading, pile number 1. Thank you for tuning in to Hollywood Oracle, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Excuse me. It, seems to me that what you folks need is a hero.
Yeah? And who are you?
Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to Hollywood Oracle. I'm Antonio, your reader, and let's get into this. So this is what people want to ask you, right? If you chose pile number 2 here, we have the generous card here in the upright. So pile number 2. With the generous card in the upright, I feel like people want to ask you how come you are so generous, right? Because we can see over like 5 million people served, right? And funny is like that is where Hades lives, right? Because all the souls that come down to him. But I feel like, yes, people see that you're generous, or maybe it's just like you give out energy to others. Like people feel okay approaching you with a certain question or whatever the case is, right? Like today at work, a coworker came over and asked if I would be okay taking them somewhere, and then, following them somewhere and bringing them back. This is a normal routine at work, in a position that I used to have. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm not busy. So I feel like this is, people want to ask, like, how come you're so generous, right? Like they don't necessarily understand the reasonings behind why you do some of the things that you do, right? With the spells card here in the upright, people want to ask if you are a person who does spells. Okay, I feel like there is some talks, especially when it comes to you, right? That people want to ask, like, if you're into spell work, right? Like you do spells, or maybe you do spells for other people. I know I'm like, whenever someone tells me they have some type of ailment, I'll always recommend some type of herbal remedy before I recommend, taking some type of pharmaceutical, which could come off as like I do, witchcraft, like I'm, putting frog eyes and, troll fingers in like some bowl of soup and mixing it together. People's minds run in mysterious ways. But yes, this is what people want to ask. Like, so do you do spell work? Okay. Even though it's like, no, this is just medicine, boo. Calm down. Then we have hiding here in the upright, right? So people want to ask you, like, how come you keep to yourself? How come how come it's like sometimes very hard to find you, right? How come it's like, for instance, like myself, I'm not a very big social media person, even though I have a channel here, but I don't really post a lot on, like my Facebook and so on and so forth, because I just don't, like, I'm not on there, like I come on usually once a year, and that's usually just to post a Halloween photo because I make my costume every year, right? So people, might take that as like you're hiding, but it's not necessarily that. It's just you're not very into that social media type world, right? But people definitely want to ask this. It's like, again, like I feel like there's people looking for you, or looking to find information on you, or like what you're up to, but it's very hard to find any of that. Okay, so they just assume that like you're hiding, you're keeping yourself away from people. Then we have the kind-hearted, or maybe you just don't attend a lot of events as well. Then we have the kind-hearted, right, in the upright. So people feel like, they want to ask you why you're so kind-hearted, right? Like how do you? I feel like this is almost like an energy or frequency thing, right? Like people want to know, like, why do you, like I have a coworker, and whenever someone like asks for help or something, if I'm not busy, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give you a hand, even though it's outside of the realm of my job duties, right? And he's always like, couldn't be me, can't be me, I couldn't do that. And it's like, how hard is it? It's going to take me all of 2 minutes to help this person, and I feel like this is what people want to ask, is like, why are you so kind-hearted? Okay. Why do you, do things that aren't required of you? Why do you help people without getting anything in return? Then we have the rage card here in the reverse. So people want to ask you, why is it so hard to anger you? Which makes sense if we're already looking at why are you so kind-hearted, right? And why are you so generous with your time? Or helping people. So I feel like people want to know, with the rage in the reverse, like, why is it so hard to anger you? Why is it so hard to get under your skin? Why is it so hard to see more than just this kind-hearted nature from you, right? Like, why does it seem like you're so zen? Why does it seem like you're so like chill all the time? Is kind of what I'm getting. Like, why does it seem like it's hard to get you out of your element? Okay. Then we have the mask card here in the reverse. So I feel like people want to know, like, why is it that, like, how are you so authentically you, right? Like, why is it that, like, you don't put up a mask when you deal with anybody? And I can relate to that. Like, pretty much this person that you see here in the, giving you this reading is the same person you're going to see out there in the world, right? So I feel like this is kind of what people want to ask you, in the simple fact of, like, whether you've known somebody, right, for years at a time, or you're just meeting somebody, you have this same type of energy. There is no switch up. There is no, like, and even when I deal with my boss's boss, like, I'm still me. Like, I still act how I act. Is it business professional? Probably not. But it's still me, So it's like they know whenever they come to me, you will always receive this type of energy, right? And that's what they want to ask is, how come you don't put up masks or wear masks in certain situations, right? We have the loyal card here in the upright. So people want to ask you is, like, who are you loyal to? Okay. I'm also getting, like, people want to ask you how do they become one of the people that you're loyal to? Okay. Best way I can put it is, like, how do I get in that circle? How do I become good with you, pal number 2? Like, how do I become that person that, like, you will, I don't want to say lie or anything for, but it's like you will, protect and serve, right? Like, you will honor. Like, how do I get in that position with you? How do I move up into that hierarchy, right? Why are you loyal to a certain type of people that you're loyal to? How did they get there? We have the Nourish card coming next, and that's in the reverse. So with the Nourish card in the reverse, it's to the left of it, we have the kind-hearted, right? And to the right of it, we have strength. Above it, we have loyal, and below it, we have spirit, right? So kind of what I'm getting here is, like, people want to ask you, how come you don't nourish certain relationships? Okay, like, how come you put forward a lot of effort over here, but you don't put forward a lot of effort over here? What makes this person more important than this person, right? How do I become somebody that you want to pour your energy into? Okay, we have the Spirit card here in the reverse. Okay, so I feel like what the questions people want to ask you is, like, why don't you believe in certain things? Why don't you believe in certain things? Why don't you have, trust in certain people or things, right? Like, why don't you, and you can see, like, in the Spirit card, he's pointing to the heart too. So how come some relationships, you don't have, you don't have trust in, right? Or certain people you don't have trust in. How come you don't believe somebody when they say something, a certain person, whatever the case is? How come you don't believe in this religion as opposed to this religion? How can you believe in this but not believe in that, right? We have the ego card here coming up next in the upright. So I feel like what people want to ask you is, I don't really feel like this is an ego situation. Okay, if you look at him, he's just kind of standing tall, holding his thunderbolt, right? Zeus. I don't feel like it's, I don't know how to explain this. I don't feel like it's ego in the sense of, like, Kanye West, right? It's not that. What it is people want to know, like, how do you hold yourself at such a standard? Right? Especially because this ego card is right next to this mask card that's in the reverse. So it's like people are like, how do you wake up every morning and choose to be the same person? Right? As if it's hard. But it's like, how do you Maybe for some people it is. I'm not sure. But it's like, yeah, like how do you wake up and always choose to have this same persona, the same energy? Why do you carry yourself the way that you carry yourself? Okay. And some people might look at you as egotistical. I know I get that a lot, right? But that's mainly because I'm spiritual. And you'll find this even with other religions as well, right? Whatever it is that you believe in, religion or culture, especially like, I'm not sure of the exact religion, so don't crucify me here, but the religion where the women, I mean, and there's multiple religions that do it, but like the Christianity one or Catholic one, whatever it is, where they wear the jean skirts all the time, right? Like you'll never catch them outside of a jean skirt. Like, why is that? We understand that it's religion based, but it's like, how do you wake up every morning and choose to put on that jean skirt, right? Why do you choose to do that? And then because you believe in that, right, you hold yourself to a certain standard. And this leads people to believe that you have some type of superiority mindset when it comes to them or other people. It's almost like the, what's the word I'm looking for? Projection, right? They're projecting onto you this ego that you don't even have. Okay? But they want to know about it, right? Like they want to ask you about it. Like, why do you feel like you're better than other people? We have the burden card, okay? And that's in the reverse. So people want to ask you is like, how come you don't take on, I feel like this is, how come you don't take on other people's burdens is really the question that's being asked here, but it's being asked in a light of like, how come you don't overextend your help, right? That's why I feel like you hide here. That could explain that, okay? Because it's in the same row. And then we have the loyalty card. So it's like people that you'll always help, right? People that you'll always help because you know that they're not taking advantage of you. They're not taking your help for granted. But then we have this burden card. It's like, but pile number 2, you're so good at like what you do and, getting through certain obstacles or whatever the case is. It's almost like people know that you could help them out of the situation that they're in, but they're asking you, how come you won't allow me to place my burdens onto you for you to deal with, right? And this could, like I said, this could very well be why you hide, right? Or people feel like you hide. It's so that they can't place certain burdens on you. Right? How come you don't want to deal with my problems? Essentially, is the problem is the question that I feel like is being asked here, right? Like, how come you don't take on more than you have to? Because it's not your responsibility, is what you should tell them. Ain't nobody got time for that. Then we have the strength card in the reverse. Okay, so yeah, people want to ask you is like, I feel like what people want to ask you is like, how come every altercation isn't met with strength, right? Because we have the kind-hearted card here to start this row off. Then we have the nourished card in the reverse. And then we have the strength card. So I feel like people want to ask you is like, when someone disrespects you or maybe whatever the case, how come it isn't like immediately fist? Right? Like, how come you don't, again, I feel like get enraged. People want to see you out of your element. How come you don't show strength? How come you don't, it's weird. It's almost like people feel like you have this egoic persona, but in certain altercations or conversations, you don't show strength. And it doesn't make sense to them. So they want to ask, like, how come you could have put that person in their place. How come you didn't? Okay. But some people don't understand that that's not necessarily showing strength, right? That could be showing retaliation. That could be, starting something that you just don't really care to get into. Right. That's the strength is meeting somebody's aggravation or anger or rage kind-heartedly with peace, or just saying, okay, if that's how you feel, and walking away. I feel like that's stronger than actually getting into the altercation itself. And then we have the romance card here in the upright. Yeah, people want to ask you, like, is there anyone you're romantically seeing? Is there anyone that you have your eye on? Is there anyone that you're dealing with? Right? Like who do you, pile number two, deal with at night when you go home? Who's hitting up your phone? Who's texting you? Who's on your hotline blink? Okay? Who are you sending your Drake leaks to? That was not called for. I apologize. uh, we we have the reunion card here in the reverse. With the reunion card, I feel like the question here, right, is how come you don't how come you don't reunite with certain people, but you reunite with other people? So in a sense of like, I have friends to this day, right, that I've known since elementary school. Some of them I talk to, some of them I hang out with, but others I don't. They might be my friend on Facebook, right? But I don't hang out with them. We aren't close. But other ones, we're extremely close. We go to, each other's child's birthdays and whatever events, right? So I'm also seeing this as like, how come when you have a falling out with someone, right, you don't try and fix that relationship or repair it? Okay, almost like a grudge holding kind of thing. Okay, like how come you from that point forward you just kind of write that person off and you never try and work it out with that person? Is also what I'm getting here. Some advice messages here from Spirit, God, Universe, whatever it is you believe in. We have, do you want it, earn it. Okay, and that's in the upright. I feel like what Spirit, God, Universe is saying here is, if there's something that you want, okay, you're going to have to put some work and effort into, especially if you do a lot of spell work. Okay, nothing against it, nothing wrong with it. I don't do a lot of spell work myself, only because I feel like when you do spell work, you have to give something, right? I don't know what I'm giving or what is required, so I don't I don't do it, right? But anyways, and maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe you can enlighten me, those of you who watch, the watchers. But I feel like Spirit, Guide, Universe is saying, yes, you can do all these spells and whatever the case is, but you also have to provide some work in the physical as well, okay? Like, hey, we'll handle everything in the spiritual realm, but we need you to do X, Y, Z in the physical realm to bring this spell to its fruition, okay? Do you want it? Earn it. I feel like this also kind of talks about this ego card here too. It's almost like if you want to be a high exact person, right? If you want to walk in the room and everyone shuts up, or if you want to be, the owner of a Fortune 500 company, you're going to have to earn it, right? You're going to have to work at it. It's not just going to fall in your lap, and you can't just do a spell and be like, I want to be the CEO of Ferrari or Lamborghini or, whatever the case is, right? It doesn't work like that. There's work that is required. Okay, and you'll have to do that. With the stand your ground turd, okay, that's in the reverse. I feel like Spirit, Guide, Universe is calling you out kind of here, and it's possibly calling myself out, because I do this as well, where it's like when I write somebody off, that's kind of it for that relationship. Okay, we don't talk no more. And I feel like Spirit, Guide, Universe is saying, in some of these situations, you should not stand your ground so hard, right? With the stand your ground card in the reverse, it's almost like some situations aren't as serious as you make them out to be, or it's just that, like, the other person is not going to confront the situation. Therefore, Spirit, Guide, Universe saying is like, you should confront it. Like, it's the fallout could have been over something silly, right? It doesn't mean that you have to write this person off forever. Okay, it's just the other person might not be emotionally intelligent to deal with the situation, or they might be nervous or have a lot of anxiety or whatever the case is that causes them not to be able to approach you to deal with the situation. Therefore, the ball is kind of in your court to kind of work things out, okay? With the you stupid card, and that's in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like Spirit Guide Universe saying you're not stupid here. You know who you should be giving your energy to, right? With that Nourish card in the reverse, you know who you should be kind to, and you know what battles to take. So I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is in your corner in this one, saying like, you know what you're doing, keep doing it, right? Then we have okay to feel, and that's in the reverse as well. So okay to feel in the reverse, I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is just saying like, we have the rage card starting off this row. I'm not one that's easily angered, but I will say I kind of bottle it up and then blow up on you because I feel like there's, and I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I do feel like you, at a certain age, right, you know fully aware of what you're doing, right, and why you're doing it, whether it's you just don't care or whatever the case is, right? But I also feel like if you stay in this like rage type of energy, then that's what you'll also attract. Not only from other people, but just into your life, right? Rageful moments or events. Okay to feel with the spirit card in the reverse. I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is saying like if you fully believe in something, then it's okay to preach it. It's okay to talk about it to those who ask, right? It's okay to have beliefs in things that may differ from other people's. There's nothing wrong with it, right? And then we have the romance card, it's okay to feel. And that's in the reverse. I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is just calling on you to say, be careful of who you show affection towards, right? Because not everyone, it's not warranted for everyone, okay? It's not for everyone. Speaking of which, bottom of the deck card is not for everyone, and it's in the reverse. So to piggyback off of, okay to feel in the reverse with the romance card, saying like not everybody deserves your love, but also here, not for everyone in the reverse card, or not for everyone card in reverse is saying like there's I feel like what it's saying is there's a lot more people out there that you could be connecting with, but you don't because you hide yourself away, right? And again, this could be a message for myself as well because, like I said, I'm not really on social media like that. I probably could be out there more and engaging with people, maybe even having a larger circle or soul tribe, right? But again, it's not for everyone in the reverse card. It's like you're not. I don't want to say like you're not pursuing. It's just like you're just not out there. Like people can't come to you and be friendly or try to befriend you if they don't know about you, right? It's like the same thing of like the social media age that we're in. It's like, how can I like your work if it's not out there? Okay. That has been your reading pile number 2. Thank you for tuning in to Hollywood Oracle, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Excuse me. It, seems to me that what you folks need is a hero.
Yeah? And who are you?
Hello. Pile number 3, last but not least here. Welcome to Hollywood Oracle. I'm Antonio, your reader, and let's get into this. The things that people want to ask you here. If you chose pile number 3, we have the Cherish card. The questions people want to ask you. With the Cherish card, I feel like what people want to ask you is like, what is it that you cherish? Like, what do you hold to value in your life? What is it that you can't live without? What is it that is close to you? I feel like with this, we got baby Zeus and baby Pegasus. So obviously it's like the obvious questions are answered, right? Like, what do you hold value in? Your children, if you have children, or your pets. But outside of that, right? What is it that gets you going? Like, what do you care about in this world is kind of what people want to ask you. We have that followed up by the romance card. So people want to ask you, like, who are you romantically seeing? Who are you romantically involved with? How does one become romantically involved with you? Okay? Who you're talking to. Is there anyone you're talking to? Okay? We have the stagnant card here in the reverse. So people want to ask you, like, I feel like people want to ask you is like, how come you're always on the move? Okay. This could be like you're always busy, Okay, not meaning like stagnant in the sense of like, you've plateaued in life, but it's just like, how come you're always busy? How come it's always hard to kind of like hang out with you or chill with you? Like, how come you're always, again, moving, doing something, involved in something, right? How come you never just stagnant, still, motionless? How can I Netflix and chill with you, pile number 3, if you won't stop moving? We have the kind-hearted card in the reverse, okay? So questions people want to ask you is like, how come there's certain people that you aren't kind towards, right? What is, I feel like there's questions in the sense of like, you're overall a very kind-hearted person, right? You're at least cordial, whatever the case is, right? You pay respect where respect is, deserved or returned. But in the same respect, and look at it. Anyways, we'll get to that, right? Just for those of you who aren't watching, the demand respect card is in the reverse in that same row. But anyways, the people that you have fallen out with, right? People want to know, why is that? Like, what is it? Because overall, you're a very like easy, chill person to deal with. So what is it that caused you and this person to have a riff, right? We have the weakness card here in the upright as well. People want to know what your weakness is. Again, like, not only do they want to know what you cherish, but they want to know what your weaknesses are. Why do they want to know that? I couldn't tell you. Maybe it's because some people want you to stop moving, right? With that stagnant card we had in the reverse, like people want to know how to stop you in your tracks, right? You're moving too fast. You're gaining too much traction. How do I put an end to it? How do I put a stop to it? What are your weaknesses? What do I attack? Where do I hit first? Okay. What do you cherish so I know what to hit? Okay. Possibilities. We have the guide card here in the reverse as well. So people want to know, they want to ask you, like, where are you headed? Where are you going? What's your end goal? Okay. Like, what exactly are you doing with your life? Where exactly are you headed? Okay. Who are you taking with you? These are questions people want to ask you. And then we have the materialistic card in the reverse. Yeah, because you have people confused. Like, people don't really know what drives you, what motivates you, right? With the cherish card in the upright, like, again, what is it you care about? Okay, what are your weaknesses? I can't purchase you or buy you with money because you're not materialistic. So if money doesn't move you, which usually moves most people, what can I offer you if it's not money? I'm like, another question is like, how come you're not materialistic, right? Is it because you're abundant? Is it because you have everything that you need or want? Or is it because you're whole without these things? We have the spying card here in the upright. So people want to know who you're keeping an eye on, why you're keeping an eye on these people. And I feel like it's also not like a spying. So if you don't spy on people, people just want to know what you know, is kind of what I'm getting here as well, right? So it's like, what do you know? Because people know things. Right? They know you know more than you put out. Okay? You know more than you speak about. So what is it that you know? That's what they want to know. They're like, I don't think pile number 2 spies on people, but I'm sorry, pile number 3, there might be some messages for you in pile number 2, but I don't feel like pile number 3 spies on people. I just feel like you can see like he's in the bushes, right? So it's almost like you're in the right place at the right time to gain a certain type of knowledge or, information. So people want to know, like, what rooms are you in? Who have you been around? What do you know? With the manifest card here in the reverse, people want to ask you, how come you don't ask for certain things, right? Like, maybe you don't ask for exactly what you want, but put out the energy that like you're capable of doing certain jobs without actually asking for them, right? Or how come you don't do manifestation work, right? Like how come you don't work towards certain things, right? Like how come you say I want to do this, but then never really do anything towards that direction, okay? Could go both ways. With the beauty card here in the upright, people want to ask you, how are you so beautiful? How are you so gorgeous? What do you do, right? Like what lotion do you use? Okay, why are your teeth so white? I get that, but you know, I get that question actually a lot. Why are your teeth so white? And I'm like, I don't know. I brush them. I don't have an answer for you. You know, like they're just white. I brush them in the morning. I brush them at night. Nothing. I don't wear power strips or whatever the crazy trends are out there. But people want to know, how are you so beautiful? How do you maintain so much beauty? Like what are your tricks? What are your, little things that you do? How can I make myself look beautiful, right? What tips can you give me to improve myself? We have the excluded card here in the upright. So people want to ask you, like, how come you exclude people from certain things, or why you're excluded from certain rooms or conversations? Okay, why are you excluded from, the good old boys group or the good old girls group, the mean girls group, or, how come certain people throw events and don't invite you? Or again, like people with that kind-hearted card that we were talking about earlier, like people want to know how come, some people aren't kind towards you? How come some people don't involve you in certain things? Like what was the fallout here? Why do people feel a certain way towards you? Was there something that you did? Or, people, it's just really people being nosy. Then we have the communication card here in the upright. So people want to know, I feel like people want to know how to approach you. Like people don't really know how to conversate with you or communicate with you. So it's like when they do approach you, not saying that you're not approachable, it's just they don't really know how to ask you certain things. They don't really know, how you're going to respond, right? People don't really know what they can ask you, what they can ask you. What they can and what they can't, okay? Kind of sound like the theme there. What they can and what they can't ask you, right? How you're going to respond to what they ask you, okay? They don't really understand necessarily how to communicate with you fully, okay? They don't know what your communication style is. And then we have the bored card here in the reverse. So people want to ask you, it's like, how come you never look bored? Even though you could be fully bored, but it's like almost like if you're never stagnant, right? You're always moving on the go, doing something. Like, how come you're never bored, right? And I feel like even when you are bored, like people want to know, what do you find boring? Like, what's boring for you? Because you might have a lot of interests, okay? With the bottom of the deck here, we have the spirit card in the reverse, okay? So I feel like people will want to ask you, how come you don't talk about your religion, culture, what you believe in? How come you don't discuss that with anyone, right? How come I feel like you have signs of what it is that you believe in, right? Spirit, God, universe, whatever it is, but you don't discuss it with people, or like you don't push it on people, and people want to know why. Why is that, right? Like how can you believe so strongly in something but not try and convert people into it? We have some advice messages here from Spirit, God, Universe, whatever it is you believe in. We have, it's just water, turd, and that's in the reverse. So I feel like Spirit, God, Universe, Spirit, God, Universe, whatever it is you believe in is telling you, like, don't play the small card, right? Don't minimize the things that you, like romantic gestures, right? Or people that you're interested in romantically. Like, don't minimize it, right? Again, here too, with the beauty, like, don't minimize your beauty. If you're beautiful, then be beautiful, okay? Own it. It's not just water under the bridge. It's not just water, right? It's you, okay? I don't really feel anything towards that guidance card when it's just water, turd. I do feel like you have a lot of guidance that you could give to people to help them out in certain situations. So like, I feel like if Spirit, God, Universe is saying anything, it's saying that like you're advice and your knowledge is worth more than you think it is. Okay, it's not just water under the bridge. There will be hell to pay, and that's in the upright. Spirit Guide Universe is saying, for anyone trying to slow you down, right? Anyone trying to make you stagnant, there will be hell to pay. Okay, because I feel like you do have a mission. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're doing the things that you're doing. And it's because Spirit Guide Universe has set you on that goal or that track or that whatever the case is. So anyone who comes and intervenes with this will have to answer for it. Okay. Then we have, materialistic, there will be hell to pay. I just feel like Spirit Guide Universe is saying, like, if you sell out for materialistic things, know that it always comes at a cost. And then we have the excluded card. There will be hell to pay. For the people who exclude you from certain situations, don't think that Spirit Guide Universe didn't see that. They'll pay for that as well. They'll be excluded from something that they want, and vice versa, right? The wheel of fortune is always spinning. Demand respect, and that's in the reverse. And I talked about that in this row earlier. I feel like Spirit Guide Universe is saying, like, not in every situation do you have to demand respect. Or if it is that you don't normally demand respect from people and you allow people to treat you however they want to treat you, this is Spirit Guide Universe calling on you to stand up for yourself, especially in these communication talks, right? Like, don't let anyone tell you what you're going to do. Don't let anyone, tell you how to think and how to feel, okay? Demand respect. Tell them how you feel. Tell them what you're going to do. Tell them what your next steps are, right? Demand respect. If somebody is being nosy and is all in your business with this spying card, you demand that respect of saying, look, I deserve privacy. Okay? So get your nose out my business. All right? And then also with this kind-hearted card, this is just Spirit Guide Universe saying demand that respect as well, right? And I always say this, you can go back as far as you want to in my readings. I always say how you allow people to treat you is how people are going to continue treating you. So if you allow them to disrespect you, they will continue disrespecting you, okay? Little engine that could, and that's in the upright, okay? Spirit Guide Universe is saying they believe in you, okay? They believe you in the fact of, like, look, everyone has weaknesses, okay? That's just a fact of life, okay? Everyone has weaknesses. I may be really good at reading, oracle cards that I create, but I'm not good at reading tarot cards because I don't know all the meanings, So it's just Spirit Guide Universe saying they believe in you and whatever it is that you decide to do, right? And they believe in that you can overcome your weaknesses as well. My mother actually bought me a tarot deck for Christmas that I am going to try and learn. Will I include it here? I'm not quite sure yet, but we will see. Little engine that could, we have the manifest card. So if you have a problem bringing certain things into your life, into fruition for you, right? Spirit Guide, you were saying they believe that you can, right? You can pull these things into your realm or your reality, right? But it's going to require work, and it's also going to require you to believe in yourself, right? Little engine that could, Spirit Guide Universe believes in you. Now it's time for you to believe in yourself. Then we have the board card here, little engine that could. I feel like when it says little engine that could and it comes to this board card, it's almost like saying they believe that you can find something to do, right? Because, think about how many things are out there in the world in order for you to do. Does things cost money? Well, yes, of course. Creating these cards costs money. Creating these props costs money. The camera I'm recording this on, the stand that it's on, everything, just about everything or any hobby costs money. But in that same aspect, right? Like, how to explain it? You can find a hobby or interest in some of the most craziest things, right? Like, how do people know that they can shoot a apple or a balloon with their feet upside down? Like, how do you learn that about yourself? With practice, of course, But it's It's almost like you can find something to entertain yourself if you're normally bored. I feel like is what Spirit Guide Universe is saying, right? If you feel like you're bored, there's nothing to do, you don't have any interest, just find something, right? Just try something, okay? Dream bigger. Spirit Guide Universe is calling on you to dream bigger, and this is also in that stagnant row, right? So if you do become stagnant, or you do find yourself kind of settling into like a role or a groove, Spirit Guide Universe is saying dream bigger than that, because you're meant for bigger than that, right? Don't allow yourself to become comfortable and just the every day-to-day thing. Okay, reach for more, because there's more out there. This has been your reading pile number 3. Thank you for tuning into Hollywood Oracle, and I'll see you on the next one.